So today, we're going to tackle a really big question. How does a person go from just believing in a higher intelligence to actually tangibly experiencing it? It's a journey from the head to the heart, really, from having an idea to living a reality. All right, let's just jump right in with some simple, but actually pretty deep observations about the world around us. I mean, think about it, the human body. It has this perfect symmetry, this incredible function, this kind of precision. It just makes you wonder, right? What's governing all of this? Okay, now let's zoom way out. I mean, way, way out to the cosmic scale. You've got trillions of stars and planets moving in this breathtaking cosmic dance, this ballet of gravity and momentum. And somehow they do it without this constant catastrophic collision. There's an undeniable harmony at play here. And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? From our own bodies to the most distant galaxies, we are just surrounded by evidence of an intelligent order. For early thinkers, these weren't just scientific questions. No, they were deeply philosophical, and they all seem to be pointing towards something greater. So, if you're faced with all this universal order, what do? How did people first try to make sense of it all? Let's take a look at the intellectual journey they went on. You know, at first, it seemed like the world was split into two separate camps. You had physical stuff, matter, and then you had consciousness, or mind. They were seen as totally separate, independent forces. But this view had a really hard time explaining the harmony we see everywhere. I mean, how could two separate forces create such a perfect, integrated order? It just didn't add up. And this led them to a new conclusion, that mind and matter couldn't be separate. A single unifying intelligence had to be the one governing everything. So you can see where this is going, right? This line of reasoning all points to one powerful, natural conclusion. There must be one source, one ultimate cause. And this single entity isn't just responsible for creating the physical universe, but it's also the very intelligence that flows through it and organizes it from the inside out. Okay, so if this intelligence is everywhere, how in the world did the first seekers actually try to find it? Observing the outer world is one thing, but how did they attempt to make direct contact? Well, they turned their search inward. Well, seekers, especially back in ancient India, came up with this really methodical approach. Their logic was kind of like this. Our five senses are built for the outside world, right? For the material world. So to find the spirit behind all that matter, they figured they had to temporarily shut off that sensory input. First step, close the eyes, shut out the external world. Second, concentrate all your focus inward. By systematically quieting the senses, they found that something amazing happened. A new, inner world began to open up and reveal itself. And this wasn't just some intellectual exercise. It wasn't a fruitless search at all. According to Paramahansa Yogananda, for those who really stuck with it, who persistently continued these inner investigations, it all led to a direct revelation, a personal experience of that governing intelligence. And that right there, that direct experience, brings us to the absolute core idea we're exploring today, the essential shift, the journey from just having a concept of something to having a direct perception of it. Here's where we see the crucial difference. On the one hand, you have conception. That's an idea in your mind, a thought, a belief, a philosophical framework you think about. But on the other hand, you have perception, and that's a whole different ballgame. That's a real, tangible feeling, a direct experience, a presence you can actually feel. The whole goal of practices like meditation and prayer is to make that leap, to transform the mental concept into a lived reality. And here's the thing, this isn't just some ancient history lesson. The path of transforming a concept into a perception is presented as a universal journey, one that's available to anyone who wants to undertake it for themselves, right here, right now. So, how do you actually do it? Let's dig into two really practical paths, and we'll start with the path of devotion. This one is all about the quality of your inner feeling. It's about seeking with the heart. There's this beautiful metaphor that suggests the divine isn't interested in grand material offerings or some kind of business transaction. It responds to something much simpler, much purer, sincere, heartfelt love. It's not about what you give, it's about the love with which you call. But this kind of devotion, it has to have some specific qualities. It has to be sincere, with absolutely no hidden agenda of trying to get something in return. It has to be unconditional and totally focused. And the real measure of its intensity?
It's when your love for the divine becomes as powerful, as instinctual, as your attachment to your own life, to your own body.
Okay, so besides that inner feeling, there's a second path. And at first, it might seem like the total opposite, but you'll see it's deeply connected. This is the path of action, of seeking through your hands, through your daily work and activities. Think about it like this. The same exact action, let's say doing some charity work, can be either a barrier or a bridge. If you're doing it to boost your own ego, to make yourself look good, it's considered wrong activity. But if you do that very same work selflessly with your mind focused on a higher purpose, it becomes right activity, a way of actually perceiving the divine through your actions. And the method for doing this is, well, it's profoundly simple. 3 steps. Step 1, you think of God before you start any task. Step 2, you keep that connection while you're doing it. And step 3, you offer it all up once you're finished. This simple framework can literally transform any part of your day into a spiritual practice. And when you practice this, what starts to happen is you cultivate this feeling of being, well, like a conscious instrument. You start to feel a greater intelligence working through you, a kind of divine partnership in every step you take and every task you complete. So what happens when you follow these paths, the path of devotion and the path of action, all the way to the end? This whole journey leads to a final realization, an ultimate perception. The final perception isn't about meeting some separate being out there. No, it's about realizing your own true nature. You finally understand that your individual self, that tiny wave, was never actually separate from the vast ocean of life in the first place. The separation was only ever just a matter of limited perception. And this leaves us with one final thought to really chew on. We often separate our lives into the spiritual parts and the mundane parts. But what if that's a false distinction? What if every email we send, every meal we cook, every step we take was an opportunity to transform a concept into a perception? What if every single moment was a way of knowing?